from Tom and Ruth podcast. It's been a long time since I've done a podcast. I apologize for that. It's like one of those times that I don't know why. I don't know. I think I was been busy doing nothing. Being retired, as I do podcasts and things like that, and kind of keep up with things. And sometimes you just don't kind of get around to doing things when you want to do it. And this channel is monetized on YouTube and on, of course, Podbean, which you can catch our shows on just about anything out there now. iTunes, it's on everything. Samsung, Sirius Radio, it's on everything. So today I want to talk about living in the Philippines and sometimes the positive points. I've been bringing up some negative points about living in the Philippines, but there's hundreds of positive points. As you know, I left the USA, and at the time I was just distraught. I was tired of living in USA. The job itself was wearing me down, and it got to the point to where it was taking a lot out of me. I would have nightmares there, and even here it took me a year to get over the nightmares. Nightmares of living, the boss is calling you at all hours, day and night. It was morning, noon, and night. It seemed like they wanted to pick up the phone and call you for no apparent reason. And, okay, go do this, go do that. Well, you told me that the night before, but it was more of a harassment situation. It made it kind of tough, and I had to deal with that a lot. But really, overall, I decided to move to the Philippines, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made because I met my wife, and I'm very glad that I did. So, positive things. Cost of living. Cost of living is very positive. Living here, your cost of living is going to be a lot less than what it is in the States, and a lot less depending on how you live. If you're an alcoholic or you like to smoke and drink and party all the time, it's going to probably cost a little bit more because you can buy a bottle of beer for 45 cents. And you can drink a pint of beer for 45 cents. And they have a lot of problems here because kids are drinking now at a younger age. Some cases you see them out at 12 years old drinking. But the cost of living is a lot cheaper if you were going to buy, say, a lot. Well, not always. It depends where the lot is. I take that statement back. The cost of living is going to be cheaper if you have a house. You may be buying a house, it's going to be cheaper. If you're building a house, it may cost you as much more these days because finding workers is really hard these days. I've got a friend in town that he has a restaurant, and he's had ads up now for almost 6 months trying to find just local workers, the chef, cook, and it pays more than normal minimum wage plus tips, and they free food. And it's in air conditioning. Very easy jobs because he's not busy, only a few hours a day. And yet he can't find anybody who wants to work. He's had 6 people he needs to hire, and he can't find anybody who wants to work. But in terms of finding a place to stay, you can find a decent place like renting a house. It can cost you about $50. Good morning, F1 Grid. Greetings, New Zealand. Good morning. And you can actually live fairly cheap if you're going to go buy, food, like at a restaurant, it's going to cost you $2-3. Now there's still restaurants in the States. You can actually buy food. In fact, I was talking to a friend of mine. He says he used to go down, he just buys food for $2-3 in the morning, a couple of eggs and toast. But here in the Philippines, they have their version of their breakfast, which is eggs and toast and some type of meat. But the currency exchange now with the 50 to dollar rate, 50 plus, 52, 53, 54 to the dollar peso. So the dollar to peso rate is really good. So you can exchange your dollars. Really, you gain some money. Some guys, that's what they do. Open up an account. They come here. They open up an account and they put with a peso account. And then they have a dollar account, and they just exchange back and forth. And so, which makes it really, really inexpensive. Here's an example. I transferred $150 from one account to another for Ruth. She wanted to go to town and buy something. $150 is a little over 7,000 peso. So she went to town, and I gained almost $12 on that, $14 because of the currency exchange rate. So it was nice. Healthcare in the Philippines. I want to talk about that. I don't want to get too much into that right now. That's a big negative on my book because healthcare right now is going through some troubles here. There's almost little to no insurance here. The reason why I'm saying that is recently I had to go to the doctor because I've had this particular rash, and I went to a couple of doctors, and the doctors it was really hard for me to get in to see them, and they never could figure out what was wrong with me. It's a simple rash. Went to the third doctor, which opened up a clinic, which God bless he did. Opened up a clinic, and basically you just walk in, you pay. It was free walk in, and then he was prescribe whatever you needed. They weigh you, and they check the height and your blood pressure, make sure you're all okay. And then he gave me some lotion for it and said, hey, you just have what they call, it's a rash. It's known here in the Philippines because it's humid and dry and wet. And he said, just do this for a few days and take this medicine. And it worked out fine. And so that's what we're doing now. And my scratching is decreased about 99%. I'm very, very good with that now. So you can live here because the visas themselves are pretty cheap. You can get a visa, and it costs about $1 a day for you to stay here, but you can get what they call a 13A or an SRV visas. I won't go into those because they're really in depth. But for an example, I paid $6 for a year now because I have a 13A, married with my wife, and I paid $6 a year for me to stay here now. And it's called a permanent residency visa, and I can go back and forth to the U.S. as many times as I want, because during the times when I first moved here, I said I don't know that I really like it here. I'm not really sure because I wanted to live the Western lifestyle and want to do more of a Western life, and I wasn't really sure if I'm a man of convenience. So I like getting up, getting in the car, going down the road, having a cup of coffee with the guys, having some breakfast, and then pedaling around doing my thing. Here you can do the same because a lot of guys go meet up and have their coffee and things in a lot of areas. You can still do the same here and to go to the malls after lunch and things like that, which really gives a good thing. But in the province where I live, it's kind of hard because most of the guys that were here are gone and they went back to the States for whatever reasons, many different reasons. And so it's just me and a couple of guys. There's 23 of us when I first moved here. Now there's 2. And all the 23, except for one passed, they went back to States. They just went back to States because they felt that the life was better for them, health care. One guy left because of a family, and then mainly it was health care, really. And some were just tired of living here and dealing with sometimes the things. It's 99% positive here. And it's 99% positive. It's that 1% that will drive you completely bonkers. It will that 1% will make you want to leave. It's the culture is wonderful. The people are wonderful. You couldn't find better people. It's that 1% out of stock. Sorry, we can't help you. You're finding stuff, doing stuff. A simple task, going to get screws for a fence or wood, can take forever. We went 9 shops the other day, 9, to find screws, wood screws. They did not have any 3/4 inch wood screws in town. I eventually had to go to Valencia, and they didn't have them on. I said, what is going on? So we ended up finding them at one place, and so we went 30 miles to find screws. It cost me 50 cents to come all the way back here. Now, why they don't have wood screws, I have no idea. Nails, wood screws, sometimes it'd be complicated finding some things. Channel lock pliers, just a pair of pliers. Channel lock pliers. Took me forever to find. But on the other hand, they were so willing to help. Well, sir, we'll go here, we'll go here, we'll go here, we'll go here. And the driver was so nice. He said, well, all right, I know a place. So he'd take us here. So you can't beat that. You can't beat it. I remember one time I had a flat tire on the car, and the flat tire was flat. and I was changing. Before you know, I had 5 people helping me. Really, it was unbelievable. I had like a group of guys. So as I'm driving off, the other tire goes flat. I mean, I didn't get 50 feet, and the other tire just went flat. I guess there was a nail in it, and I hit it, and so it went flat. So all those guys had left, so I'm out on the side of the road trying to get this thing jacked up, and then they helped me. Some guys stopped and they helped me. Some different guys came and they helped me. So you can't beat the culture, you can't beat it, but it's that 1% of sometimes doing things, getting things the way you want, like going to get a dentist or eye care. We went to the dentist, and sorry, she's off today. So we went. They said, oh, when you come back, we'll be back Tuesday. So we went last Tuesday, and oh, I'm sorry, I don't feel like doing it today. Okay, well, just come tomorrow. We went tomorrow, and they were way out the door because she had not been there for a while, and so we ended up going to this other dentist, and they were busy, and so you just have to be prepared for that, things like that. So, like I said, entertainment here is really inexpensive. You can actually have really affordable entertainment, such as festivals and street fairs. There's always something going on here, and it's really inexpensive. You can go. It's great opportunities to learn and local culture without breaking the bank, and it's really good to do. It's good, like getting around and seeing everybody and do it. A lot of people will just ask you straight up, do you have any, you speak Visaya, or you speak Cebuano, or you speak Tagalog? And some do, some don't. You just have to really realize that a lot of them would like for you to speak the language, and even though you can or can't, they'll help you along too. A lot of them won't speak to you, they're just shy, And I had already mentioned talking about banking, and as you know, some of the great things, the climate is really good, so it's great tropical climate, and it's a very positive thing about the climate here. The climate itself is very, very nice. You can actually get around and do anything. The only thing you have to be careful with is the landslides and the storms and things like that. The climate can actually get you there because if you're not careful, there's a lot of landslides, depending, especially on these high mountains. And it happens all the time. You're not going to be exclusive and not ever happening. And the roads are getting better and better too, And I do have to say, this has changed considerably since I've been here in the Philippines. That's safety. Safety has changed considerably to the positive since I've been here. When I first arrived here, it was a bullet scam at the airports where they would put bullets in your luggage and want money, and then there was a bunch of scams going on. Duterte came in, straightened all that mess up, got rid of all that, got all that squared away. Then,
this is mine,
okay. Then it was a situation where you have to be really careful, mindful where you go, mindful of your surroundings, take steps to be safe, things like that. But it's a lot safer than it was when I first arrived here. We had as you know, a few years ago, Marawi, and I'm not far from there. That was really something. That was a mess. And not saying it's secure now. I mean, there are areas you're not allowed to go in. There are areas where I live here now I'm not allowed to go in. And even areas where I live presently, I shouldn't go in these areas within a mile of my house. So, but other than that, it is really changed to the positive that I feel a lot more comfortable than I did before. Before, honestly, there were times I could not get out of the house. I could not leave the house because of fear and things like that. And people were telling me, the police tell me, the police were actually telling me, sir, please don't come out. Please go back home wherever you live and get under cover and don't come out. So there's really, that is increased, and that's such a positive thing, and I'm so happy for that. The thing that people don't really realize, that was really a big concern of mine. It was great and fantastic first 2 or 3 years. And then all of a sudden this happened. Oh, you watch all my videos. Thank you. F1 Grid, I appreciate that. Yeah, and education, of course, is great. There are great schools here. And there are some that's not so great. I'm kind of down on our school right now, but there are some great schools here, especially nursing schools. You want to be a nurse, some of the best schools in the world are here as far as nursing is concerned, because they produce some of the best nurses throughout the world. They're such a caring and loving culture. They'll do anything for you that way, and they'll take care of their elderly, and that's what I like about it. And it's very positive, to have someone that is good that way. But socially, support here is really good. So, for example, if you have a social network like an attorney and or doctor, local groups, sometimes friends, neighbors, they can really help you out. Social support is a big factor here. For example, I needed something done on my roof, and because of the contacts I've made here through the time, they said, I called this guy. He said, yeah, I can come there. And he came here and fixed it and charged me $10, Then there's the one with my solar guy. I pick it up and say, my solar's messed up. It seems like it's not working properly. Can you come look at it? So he came out and looked at it and charged me, I gave him $20 because of his time. And he was in and out of here in 15 minutes. It was, come to find, it was a wire that was loose on one of my solar panels. So things like that can really benefit you a lot. You just have to get past some of the things. Sometimes the language barriers can either harm you because you don't understand you or understand Tagalog. So it's always really good to have someone that is with you that can speak the language and understand what you're talking about, because not everybody's going to understand you. I find myself, honestly, where I live, fighting that battle the most. Before, it just seemed like that, there were a lot of people doing it, speaking the English, but now I very rarely run into people. Even the younger kids shy away from me, but it's okay, but a lot of great positive things. There's always great beaches here also. Tourism's really up, and great beaches you can go to and enjoy yourself inexpensively, $100 to $200 a night. And really enjoy yourself, where they may be just a little bit more in the States. And you can really have a good time, like Boracay. It's a tourist area now. There's some Sigihor. There's many great places you can go. Davao now has a beach. They cleaned up all the beach area in Davao where people were actually staying on the beach, and so they cleaned all that up, and now it's a beautiful beach. I understand. I've not been there yet. But CDO has some beautiful beaches. And so there's beautiful places, Zamboanga, there's some beautiful places you can go that are safe, that you don't have to worry about it. But it's always best to make sure you have someone with you, because you don't really know what's going on. You want to make sure, I don't care where you're at, because recently, even in the Visayas, there was little problems up there about school kids and things like that, where they were the people were bothering the students, and so there was a lot of little mishaps going on. But there's always that going on. It's like it is in the States. You go in the States and you're going to have mishaps there. Nowhere is perfect in the world right now. There's nowhere that's perfect. But the cost of living's fairly cheap here. Where you're going to really gain it, excuse me, is service-oriented businesses like glasses, dental, was doctors. You can get an inexpensive going to the doctor, but you just have to find the right one. I'm really happy they opened up this clinic. This clinic idea is the best thing in the world they ever did, because now I can go directly to the clinic, pay when he starts charging. It's free now, but if he charges $4, and then he'll see you. You may have to wait a little while, but he said if it gets to the point where there's long lines, he'll bring another doctor in. He said, I'm not having it where people have to wait 2 hours to see a doctor. He said, that's ridiculous. And so I love his attitude, and I love his idea. And he said, you should be able to see a doctor within 30 minutes to an hour. No excuses for that. But, and it's aircon. You walk in this building, it's aircon. It's like going to clinic urgent care in U.S. So it's really, 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 let's see, I see they, yeah, I saw they cleaned a lot of the stormwater streams. They did F1 Grid, yeah, and they've actually cleaned up a lot. They still have a lot to clean, but honestly, they're doing a really good job of stepping up and cleaning up a lot of areas. And they're trying to work on the graffiti in Cebu. Apparently, every building has graffiti in Cebu, no matter where you go, which I did notice that. they paint the wall and the next day there's graffiti back on it. I think it's gangs, or I don't know what it is, but because they're trying to get that solved, and I like that. I'm glad that they're doing that. I'm glad they're at least trying to get that resolved before. Well, since Duterte came in, they're really trying to clean it up. And you know, no country is perfect. Everybody has their problems. You know, they still have problems in transportation. They're still having problems. There's a lot of things they're having power, having problems with the power and transportation. Some of the things like that they're still struggling with, which is, you know, we're in a country that was still 30, 40 years behind everybody else. Technology-wise, they may be up to speed in some areas, not all the areas. Sometimes they may exceed in some of the areas, but honestly, you still have houses that don't have TVs, electricity. Me and one other house on my street. It is 1/4 mile long. We're the only ones that have TVs in our houses. It's 2 of us out of about 80 homes on this street. I mean, they're packed in here like sardines. And we're the only 2 people that have TVs. Sometimes people will sit out in front of my house because you get a certain area and they'll see my TV, and they'll all sit out there in chairs and watch my TV as I'm watching the same one. Because you hear them going, oh, you know, when I change the channel. So that kind of gives you an idea. But I'm out in the province. But I'm in civilization. I mean, you know, I'm in between Davao and CDO, and our town is a big one. We got an airport coming in, so it's not like it's this place. But that's rarely where you go. You know, it's like if I'm here, I notice this. If I'm here in Maramag and I decide to go to Cebu, it's exactly the same in Cebu as here. The only difference is a sari store, there's a mall, there's the same things that I have here that have there. They may have a different park, they have maybe more malls, but it's the same picture. If you take a picture here in Cebu, you're going to know it's Cebu. Now, you're going to go in Bohol and see the chocolate mountains, but then again, too, if you were looking at that, I could probably find an area here that has something like that also. And we do have an area here. We're going to Lontapan. It's just like that. It's got the rolling hills just like that. And Ruth said, this is like Bohol. I said, yeah, just like it. So, you know, it's just the way it is, you know. Sorry, I got to run. Yeah, okay, understandable, my good friend. Thank you so much. I'm going to run also. I'm going to close the stream. It's 23 minutes. And thank you so much. Have a good day, F1 Grid. And I want to thank everybody for always watching my videos. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on. And I'll see you guys next time on Tom and Ruth podcast.